you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
Good, tired, long day, but I'm
Long
doing
day?
good. Yes, yes, I'm doing good. Yeah, where are you calling from?
New York.
Okay, cool,
And you
awesome.
are in UK?
Brussels.
Brussels.
Yes,
Nice.
Belgium, Brussels. Yeah.
So, first of all, if you don't mind me asking, can I ask you a few questions before we dive into the book? Um, so then I can sort of explain my journey better
Sounds
once
good.
we.
Sounds
So,
good.
how long have you been in with SFI?
Now I've been about a year. Started early this year, almost.
About a year.
Yeah,
Awesome. So, what
yeah.
inspired you to join?
What inspired me to join? My dad. In
Okay.
short, he was getting in his retirement, moving into his retirement, and he basically was looking for another source of income, but at the same time, he was looking for another type of occupation, and we talked about different ideas that we want to do together, related to starting a new business or
Mm-hmm.
opening things up together. And eventually he stumbled upon actually I mean, it's kind of like the industry of online business. I knew about it a little bit, but I was more
Mm-hmm.
into the finance investment part of like stocks and cryptocurrency. That was kind of like my field.
Right.
But he was like, this people out there making money and changing their lives and having kind of like that geographical like freedom of
Yeah.
yeah, of just kind of like running your own business. And he was interested. He introduced me to it, and I looked into it, and we thought, okay, this looks legit, and we just basically started.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So what do you do right now alongside, or is it?
So basically I was finishing my degree, and I was looking into um, doing extra research masters and going into a PhD. But eventually we thought that the business was really running, and I decided to kind of take this year out of my research and to see how this could run and how it would go, and then eventually I'll probably take it back the following year, but I would have to see. So basically now I'm just working full time on the business that we're running.
Okay. How is it? How has your experience been so far?
It's a huge learning curve, to be honest
It
with you.
is.
It's huge because I mean, people hear about e-commerce, affiliate marketing, these different industries, but it's another thing when you realize that you can actually run it from, like, you can do it yourself and run it yourself, but then there's a huge other subset of things that need to be done,
Yeah.
not only technically, I'm sure but as well like mentally and being prepared, and the whole kind of
Abs-
like social media aspect of it, which is quite different.
yeah.
So that's been still, to be honest with you, still a learning curve, but
Yeah.
I'm learning to basically every single day structure it and trying to do meeting the objectives that we have on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. But so far it's been good. Honestly, I'm
Hmm.
excited for things that will come in the future. So that's
Okay.
pretty much it. Yeah.
Okay. So let's say a year from now, if everything goes as planned, as you would want
Yeah.
it to,
Yeah.
you feel successful. What
Yeah.
does that look like to you?
So again, if I would feel successful, what would happen?
What needs to happen for you to feel like,
Oh,
great, achieve my goal, I feel successful, life is great?
also, like, what would need to happen? So what would the situation look like in a year from now to be
Hmm.
satisfied with like the business and satisfied with
Sure. Sure.
a year from now? That's a good question. I think it would be, at least for me personally, it would probably be being in a position where I am confident enough to take more of a leadership position. And it can be on a small scale. It doesn't have to be me running, individuals and like giving trainings and webinars. Nothing on that scale,
Mhm.
but being able to be confident to help people out in the very beginning of the stages that I've walked through and that I've been through.
Yeah.
And to kind of have that confidence, and I think one of the great thing about that is that it would allow me to fully understand. Like, it's one thing to go through it, but then it's another thing when you really understand every single step because you're teaching on individuals to do the same thing. So I think that in a year, ideally, would be me in a position where I could learn more about leadership positions and people management and just basically being able to teach and help out more than I'm doing now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that the success, if kind of like you're thinking about how to define like success or whatnot, it'd probably be along these, like that sort of thread, I guess. If that makes sense.
So when you think of leadership, what are the first like few words that come to your mind?
I would say vulnerability, relationships, building relationships. I think that's quite important. Although sometimes it's hard, really, like on social media, it tends to be quite superficial, but I would try to do a good job into building relationships, because in leading individuals, and again, it could literally be very technical things business wise, but as well more related to the mindset and the approach that you would have on certain things. To me, it would be building relationships and trying to empathize and being patient. I'm just throwing words, but these are the things that come in my mind when I think about leadership. So that's something that I would aspire towards, because I do think it takes a level of confidence to have, and maturity as well.
Right.
But these are the things that would usually come into my mind.
Okay. So it seems like leadership is something that's very valuable to you. Like, it's one of your values, if it seems like. So what does your journey look like? How do you plan to get there?
How do I plan to get there? I think I would plan to get there by being active in well, I think that's the benefit as well with the SFM community, because there's your part in your business and your products and your funnels and your email list and all of that, which is very personal to you, and it's like that's your job, that's your business. Nobody's gonna enter into that. But then there's the huge aspect in the community where everyone comes with their own kind of luggages and baggages and figuring out what the next step is, or trying to have get help or get consultancy or get kind of advice and whatnot. And I think one of the ways that I can reach that, I guess, leadership confidence would be try to be more active on that community aspect. And very practically, basically looks like, when people come into the sessions, we have weekly sessions and whatnot, trying to attend those, trying to help out if I can, trying to, people ask questions on the social media platforms. I would try to, see if I can help them out, or if I can link up with other individuals. And there's certain projects as well with the community, like one of the communities that I'm a part of, that they're trying to implement to kind of help out better those individuals that just came in. So basically being more active. I'm not saying that I know, like, that I have all the answers, but it's trying to always be trying to really kind of give that a hand where I can, and then just learning as I go. I think that's pretty much how I would think of aspiring to that position.
Awesome. It's interesting that we're having a conversation about leadership because that's one of my core values. I think the world needs a lot of great leaders to especially offset what's going on, like the negative.
Yes.
More good people need to step up and become great leaders. So we could have a better balance and a better world. And my book has this like six step process. It's a framework, and it's called the leader framework, actually.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting we're
Ironic.
talking.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So yeah, going back to your question, to answer your question, I joined SFM about three years ago ish.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And when I joined SFM, I needed to make a lot of money, because my husband and I, we were going through a little bit of a big financial problem, because we had invested in a restaurant. So I was always in corporate America. He was always in a business, an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And one of the investments that we made was a restaurant, and it was a bad investment. So we ended up losing a lot of money, and like, I don't know, 12 years worth of savings. I have two kids. We have two
Wow.
kids,
Yeah.
and with saving for their college, for our retirement, everything went back. So it was a bad phase. So I turned to SFM. I found SFM online, and I was like, okay, this is the answer. And
Right.
I really worked hard. I was a good student. I tried to do everything, but as you said, it's a steep learning curve. And could you make money? Absolutely, but I needed money like
Like
super fast.
now, right?
Like,
Yeah.
exactly. So I said, let me continue working on the online marketing side, but at the same time also try to grow my income at my job,
Yes.
because that's something that's more achievable.
Yeah.
So I ended up actually working on myself, on my mindset, in a way that I became a better leader.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was promoted to all these different positions at work. So I got promoted like 3 times in a matter of 2 years or something.
Wow, that's
And
impressive.
I ended up like tripling my income, like in a short span of time.
Wow.
And in fact, it's so funny that one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to join SFM was also time freedom and flexibility.
Mm-hmm.
And I got that at my job.
Awesome.
So now
Right.
I can work from home or work from offsite anytime. I have, tripled my income. I'm in a leadership position now. So it all changed.
Mm-hmm.
So very quickly, because I changed as a person.
Mm-hmm. While you were
And
still, going with SFM, SFM was still on the side at the time.
yes.
Yeah.
So the biggest sort of gift I got from SFM was the gift of personal development,
Yes.
like how I became, uh, who I became in the journey. So even though I wasn't successful on the affiliate marketing side, but I grew by leaps and bounds there.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I look back at my graph, and I was like, wow, that really, like, I grew so much more in the last 2-3 years than I did in 10 years. That became my message to the world. Like, that became a message, a calling that I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to share with everybody,
Mm-hmm.
with the world. So, I can help them do the same.
Absolutely.
And then the idea of born. And so, yeah, I ended up writing a book. It
Awesome.
ended up being an Amazon bestseller.
Wow.
and
Congratulations. That's awesome.
thank you. And I've launched my coaching business alongside that. So now I have these 3 things going, where I have my job, which became a dream job, and then the book and the coaching business.
And so the just because you were breaking up, just so that I understand correctly, the growth that you had, the personal growth that you've had through SFM, that was the way it affected you. That was the message that you felt that you wanted to share.
Yes.
At the okay, cool.
Yeah. So how do you become that person? How, see, the thing is, the world, I feel, and now hindsight, if I connect the dots, the world doesn't need more information. In fact, if information was the answer, then we would all have 6-pack abs
Right.
and
Exactly.
we'd be billionaires.
Yeah.
It's actually someone's quote. I really love it.
Yeah.
He says that if the world needed more information, if information is not the answer,
Of
if
course not.
information is the answer, everybody would have six-pack abs and they would be billionaires because there's so much information out there. In
Absolutely.
fact, that itself has become a little bit of a problem, that
Yeah.
it's so much that it's like you're trying to drink from a fire hose. So it's about discernment and like trying to focus on the right information and applying it,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
right knowledge.
Yeah.
And in my personal journey, the biggest part that helped me is anytime I took help of coaches, that really helped me. Even with the book writing process,
Yeah.
I tried to write a book for a year on my own. I didn't make much progress.
Right.
I hired a coach. She held me accountable. She gave me a structure, step-by-step instructions. 9 weeks, I had a book.
Wow.
So now I know what works.
Right.
And that's my message to the world, my gift to the world. That's where I think my leadership.
Especially because you lived it as well. Like it's your story. Like you've been through every single thick of this, step of it, and makes it so much more authentic. Yeah.
Correct. It's not just preaching. It's
No,
not.
it's not something that you picked up somewhere. No, this is your life. So, and that's why I think it makes it more authentic, because like people can say, okay, she actually been through the exact same steps, if not worse, and then she managed to kind of like break through and overcome, these barriers and fears and whatnot.
Right. Because the problem is, most people have everyone has a lot of potential, right? Yeah. And some people, then more than others, have this potential plus the drive. Like they really understand that potential and they also drive, but they still feel stuck. And the reason why they feel stuck is because you cannot solve the problem using your own, like that's Einstein's quote. I don't know if you've heard it, but you cannot solve the problem using the same level of consciousness that created it. So something like that.
Yeah, but it sounds great. As I'm not sure if I heard it before, but yeah.
So it's like most problems that we're faced with, what's holding us back is it's our own mind, right? It's our own mindset. And we're trying to solve the problem. We're using the same mind. So that's the conflict. That's the problem.
Right.
Somebody else comes in, gives you a different perspective or different tool, and then you feel so unstuck so quickly.
Yeah.
And when with the book coaching thing, like so many of my friends were like, why you can write a book on your own and it's okay. And I'm like, of course I can write a book on my own. And by hiring a book coach, it's not like they're writing the book for me.
Of course not.
But if I went on my own and did the hidden trial method, first of all, it could take me years to write a book. Second of all, let's say it takes me 3 years or 5 years to write a book. Time is everything. I'm wasting time.
Yeah.
And aggravation. And here I'm still having to do the work. I'm just doing smart work.
Yeah.
I'm getting to the and thankfully I listened. So that's what really helped me.
Yeah.
And that's the message.
Writing a book in 9 weeks, that's the hard work as well. I mean, that's really good scheduling and determination.
Oh yeah.
I don't know many people that write books in 9 weeks, to be honest, but it's great, honestly. That is awesome.
Yeah, I didn't even know it was possible. But that's the beauty of like a good coach, is that they push you so hard and they raise your standards to such a degree. I mean, I nearly killed myself writing the book because it was so much. It's such a steep learning curve, and you're building the plane while flying it.
Yeah.
So it was hard. It was a lot of work.
Yeah. But it's really personal though, because I mean, you are talking about probably one of the most intense periods of your life, I assume. So it's not, saying, oh, these are some tricks and tips that I've, picked up along the way. No, this is actually this is a really bad place for me at that time. And I assume that
Yeah.
mentally as well had some type of effect in your writing process, I assume.
Absolutely. And I actually share that in the book. As I'm writing the book, I'm also sharing the struggles of writing a book.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah,
so
cool. That's cool.
Because the message that I want to share with the people, and as you said, to me, vulnerability is the number one quality that a leader needs to have. You need to keep it real. You need to guard down to be able to connect. So if I came in and I said, hey, I'm this expert who's written this book, and you just, follow these 5 steps, it impresses people. It doesn't connect with people.
It doesn't.
They will be like, oh, okay, it sounds really great, but you just seem like someone who can do it. I cannot do it.
Yeah.
But then if you take the approach and you say, hey, listen, man, I was struggling. I was writing the book and I'm struggling right now. I'm struggling to even finish this chapter, but I'm going to do it just by putting one foot in front of the other. And look, by the time, if you're reading this book, I've completed my goal. So, that's all you need to do. If I can do it, you can do it.
Yeah.
Now that gives people so much more hope.
Oh yeah, it's so inspiring.
And gives them so much more power.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
so
I think yeah, go ahead.
I'm super vulnerable in the book, share of stories like that.
But that's hard too. The vulnerability, I found it, I talk with a lot of people about it sometimes, and that notion of vulnerability as a leader, at least showing it publicly and being okay with that, it takes a whole nother level of self-awareness that is it seems to be this quite difficult to find, just because it seems almost contradictory. Right. But yet it brings out such a completely different energy. Like you're saying, you're writing this whole process book of how you can actually allow someone to think differently in a financial situation, but at the same time, you're saying this about yourself, and you're reading, I'm assuming like you're reading, you're thinking, oh my goodness, that's her. Like she's saying this right now. Like, why would she put herself like this, like, naked like that? And I think that's a quality in an art that, as we talked before, something that I'm going to have to as well learn in what I aspire as a leadership position, which is a good point.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but I see it in you. I already see it in you that you already have the framework, the foundation going.
Yeah.
What a great leader looks like.
Yeah.
You have the awareness. A lot of people don't even know what self-awareness is.
Yeah, not most people. That's true. Yeah.
And
yeah, go ahead.
And concepts like vulnerability, self-awareness, these are some really deep concepts.
Yeah, certainly. That's good though. I would love to maybe what we talked about, what I've mentioned before, have maybe like a 15 half an hour interview just to more talk about like some of the fears that you may have had and linking it with your journey with the SFM.
Not a problem.
Awesome.
Sounds
awesome.
Okay.
That's good. Well, my time is running out, so I'm gonna have to get running.
Same here. Same here. Okay.
But I hope I was helpful to
you were.
You. And I mean, if you have any other things that you'd want to kind of go through or talk more or anything like that, I'll be always willing to.
Sure. Yeah, I kept this unstructured on purpose for now. Okay. But if I can come up with something else, then I will definitely
just let me know. Sounds good.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Take care.
Bye-bye. See you.
Bye.